if you have, you might not want to admit it. So,
Yeah.
Have you ever had any explanations that aren't what you meant, but are so dope that you're like, yeah, no, that's totally... Then it starts to become to mean that. I've had a few in the past where people are like, is this a reference to this, and this? And you're like, shit, it wasn't. Or it wasn't consciously, but damn, I like that. Let's go with that. Have you ever had any of them that overthink it?
Yeah. There's been a couple... and it's always really, no matter what, it's flattering, right? To have somebody overthink a lyric meant that they spent time in it. So first of all, it's
mind-blowing. If you actually sit down and consider that, if you remember yourself growing up and listening on your headphones to Tracy Chapman as you're walking through Minneapolis, that someone else is having that with something that you have written. Right. And it's easy to get detached from that because it becomes a job. You're on tour, you're doing this, you put out records
because you're not there
when
they're doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
It is genuinely, if people are overanalyzing, it's like you need to at a point step back and go, damn, that's beautiful that they're doing that.
There was one song, it was called Into the Spin, that a couple of women had created like an environmental interpretation of, but it was a stance about the environment. And I remember thinking, what was my first reaction? Because I did feel like a little pang of failure.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I didn't mean that. And then looking at their interpretation, well, shit, man, you've got a point.
That's cool. So, it's good. The one time I've been uncomfortable with it, me and Dan were booked to play a festival. And we were doing like 3 festivals in that weekend, and we got to this festival, didn't realise that it was a very religious festival. Oh. And they'd booked us because of songs like A Letter from God to Man and things like this, that are songs that we've written that have religion but aren't actually about religion. It's about society. It's using familiar religious structures to talk about society. And that was a weird thing to play that song, have them all cheering and enjoying, but cheering in a way that made me slightly uncomfortable, because I was like, right, you're liking that in a way that I didn't mean it. Do you know what I mean? It's that scary thing of, and it's fine when they're liking it in a way you didn't mean it, but it's still something that you believe in. Do you know what I mean? If it's an environmental thing, you can still go, well, that's cool, that's nice. But when it's something, it's like, I'm not against what you're doing, but I'm not really. This is odd.
I had the same experience with a song that started. There's like a lyric. She's a Latter-day Saint, but she's a Saturday sinner. And a couple Mormons came up. The members of the Church of Latter-day Saints. Damn, and were like, so are you Mormon? And I was like, oh shit! I just thought it was a clever couplet.
Cool. Yeah, exactly. There's so much stuff. I think that with certain lyrics, with tattoos, with all sorts of stuff, often the explanation is, I thought it was cool. It sounded good. It was a nice thing. It doesn't always have to have the biggest, most intricate thing.
And I think a lot of times, though, too, when we think something sounds cool, it's on some Malcolm Gladwell shit. It's like, we're attracted to it in an instant and for reasons we can't explain, but sometimes for a lot of complicated reasons, right?
Yeah, completely. And again, when people will misinterpret something in a way that is something still that's in your mental lexicon, there's a good chance that you did mean that in some way. Subconsciously, it's like, right, that was something that was in there and was rooted in it.
And then for some of my friends even, and it's like, I always think it's a little... I'm worried about over-explaining things because I think it's also sort of like self-celebratory for an artist to get up and be like, here's my PowerPoint about this song. Yeah. But for a couple of songs even that my friends have written, when I say, oh, what's that about? And they tell me, and I think to myself privately, like, no, it's not. No. You don't know that song's about your mom, or you don't know that song's about whatever. And then the same way that's true, I'm sure, for me.
Yeah, completely. So.
Yeah.
This piece of fiction is the intro to distraction pieces. This piece of fiction is the intro to distraction pieces. This piece of fiction is the intro to distraction pieces.